So let me just get started here. Perfect. All right. Well, I welcome everyone for joining us right now for the next half hour to 45 minutes. And what I want to talk about to you all is about my client retention plan. So the touch points that I send out to my database throughout the year that is contributed to a lot of long-term success for me. And so right now, as one second here, adding a few more people in, one moment. And feel free to have your screen on or off. It's absolutely no difference for me. And at the end, if you have any questions, please put your questions into the chat box, and at the end we can talk about it. But again, right now it's time that you put aside to work on your business. We have sent out a little bit of a workbook that I'll go through after and try and explain what the intention behind it is. At the end, as I was saying, there's opportunity to answer any of your questions that come up throughout the presentation. And again, it is being recorded and easily shared from my YouTube channel, so you can watch it again and follow up with me if there's any questions. A little bit for those of you who don't know me, I always want to at least emphasize that I have been a realtor for the last 15 years. I think it's important who we listen to these days because there's so many folks out there selling a system or a program or purporting to know something, have very little experience in the trenches like yourselves. And so in a nutshell, been a realtor for the past 15 plus years and consistently in the top 1%. And I believe a lot of that long-term success, especially now later, into my mid-career, is a result of doing a good job of growing my database and constantly communicating to the database. And that's really what this presentation is about. We're going to jump into the workbook here shortly, and then we're going to jump right into the touch points that we have in my business. And I'll show you what it is that I do. And then, of course, this is available for you to digest or poach from or learn from. All right, so really simply, if you don't have I believe we've emailed you the workbook. The workbook is also posted on one of my websites called launchgrowharvest.ca. And the goal here again is whenever I find we have all these opportunities to learn from each other, it's often we learn something and we don't put it into practice. So here I'm hoping that you just take some notes. More importantly is really figuring out, where are you at? How would you rate your current touch points with your clients? What are the current things that you are doing? How are you communicating with your clients? What are all the different touch points and what are the costs and who is doing it? What is the success? Are you satisfied with it? Where do you think are the gaps and the weaknesses? And the workbook is really an opportunity to clarify that and visually see where you have gaps in your business and where you could get better in, again, creating that awesome touch point that makes your clients always remember you. Because really, if you're going to work with a client for the, let's say 15, 20 years, they are buyers and sellers a tiny portion of that time. And the most of their relationship time with you is not as a buyer or seller. And so the touch points are the things that we're trying to do so that we stay front of mind. So we obviously don't lose them as a client and that we get their future referrals. I'm sure you've all heard, that the old adage that most clients who work with realtors are very happy and satisfied at the end of the transaction. And yet 5, 6 years down the road, most of those clients are using different realtors. And it's not that, they were unsatisfied. It's the consumers right now. We live in an Amazon world where instantly when I have an idea of wanting to be a buyer or a seller as a consumer, and if I can't remember my realtor or I can't get hold of them, they haven't been sending me touch points. I think every realtor is the same, and I might just use the realtor from down the road or a brand new agent or whatever. Like it's the point of touch points is to say front of mind in that period of time, which is the majority of the time where a client is not a buyer or a seller, but just a homeowner. And again, that kind of leads into some of these questions that you should ask yourself. Like, what is the purpose of having a kick-ass touch point system? And that is simply to make your job easier. Like, the longer we're in our professions, the more clients we add to our database, it really should be getting easier. And I have to admit, it hasn't gotten as easy as I thought I would. 15 years ago, I think it was much easier to have, a pretty mediocre touch point system with your clients and still get repeat and referrals. And so that knife cuts both ways. In the negative, our clients are inundated with so much information now, so many people from every platform that they're on, are advertising to them, purporting themselves as realtors. And so if you're not doing the same, you're going to miss out. And the benefit that you have is that you have all your clients' correct information. You should have your clients, emails, mailing address, phone numbers, all of those things. And that gives you a foot up from the competition. And that should give you the ability to create a great touch point system that is effectively being communicated to your clients. And so that you are staying front of center, that you are not missing out on your clients' opportunities. You might ask yourself, why don't you have an awesome touch point system with your clients? Part of it is, I can speak for myself over the 15 years at different points in my career. My communication touch points to my clients sometimes were worse or better, and often they were, the poorest when I was the busiest. And then often 6 months after that, you see the impact because you haven't been communicating with your clients effectively. You haven't been staying front of mind, and you're missing out on referrals. You're missing out on repeat business. And as we all know, who've, been in the business for more than 5 years, the pain of losing a client who you've helped, buy into a property and been with them in the early years, it's extremely painful and it shouldn't happen. And so what we're trying to do, again, through an effective touch point system, is minimize the odds of you losing business that should be yours, because you have done business with these folks. You have otherwise added these folks to your database and collected all the right information. And so really, your opportunity to make your business easier is to design a client touch point system that works around your style, works around what you want to do and what's important to you. So what I'm going to do over the next 20 plus minutes is I'm going to walk you through the different touch points that I have put into my business. So this is my 2024 touch point system. Some of it is automated, some of it is manual. There's a few of them that I will be changing in 2025, and I already have new ideas that I will be incorporating. But I would say 90% of these touch points I will, rinse and duplicate. I will change the language a little bit, and yet it'll almost be the same thing next year. And so sometimes people on this presentation ask me, is there not a danger of repeating it year after year? I honestly think the danger of what we're doing, most of us, which is not touching our clients, not having a consistent touch point, is far greater than if they get a similar email 1 year after each other. And they probably won't even remember. And the other thing we have to remember, there's so many different, blockers out there, and ways that your email or text might not reach your client, that the whole purpose of having a 50 plus touch point system, and in fact, my system is well over 65 now, is because when I communicate with my clients, I think I'm communicating with them lots and sending a lot of different touches, and most of them are getting, I'd say maybe 50% of them, if not less. And a lot of times it's just, comes in and out of the email, or they miss it. And so keep that in the back of your mind, that definitely the environment that we're living in, more is needed in order to, maximize your opportunity. So when I get a brand new client and I've done a transaction, I've added them to my database, the following system will take place. Or for example, if there's a new vendor or a new, valuable partner that is added into my database, all the following things will take place. So um, right away, I will send an automated, or the system, this is an automated first step. So the system will send out an email to the client, kind of inviting them and thanking them for being connected, for them joining my ecosystem, and also telling them, you do expect to get a number of different touch points over the year, and reach out at any time you have any questions, and I will reach out to you as well in the years ahead. So that is an email automated touch point that goes out from my CRM database. A little while later, a text from my automated database goes out, and the text is again saying hi to the client. It is also introducing my new phone number and that business line that my text updates will be coming from. And so it introduces that with the client. It tells the client I'm going to, from this number, communicate lots of great value, contest prizes, etc. And so what I'm trying to do is, with all best intentions, is have the client save that secondary number. And I know that works because sometimes clients are calling me on that number or texting me back on that number, and they forget that, that certainly is a real phone line that I can see, but it's not my primary. But again, that is the second touch point. It's also automated. So the cool thing about all the automated ones, obviously, is I'm not doing them. And so it's just in the background taking place. One of the manual, let me just
Thank
change.
you.
I'm gonna mute someone, one moment. A sec. All right. So one of the manual ones that comes up pretty early in my system, but it depends what time of year we are. But I will send out, once or twice a year reminders for our clients when, tax due dates are coming up, when the deadlines are, because I find a lot of my clients, especially the property tax in our market center, which is in January, our clients are, if they want to dispute it or want to know more about it, usually the moment has passed. And so it's one of the manual touch points I push out to my clients, reminding them at a certain point in time coming up is when the tax due date is. That's also an opportunity if they wanted to dispute their market value of their home. I let them know that I could provide them with information should they feel that the property is mispriced and they're paying too much taxes. And so this is a manual email that is going out at my discretion. The next automated email in the sequence is a text. Is this a text? No, yeah, it's a text that goes out, and it is introducing a link to my online app for searching properties. And again, it's a great little app for people to, they can, if they're curious about real estate, they can see properties anywhere that they go. They just open it up. It's also great for me because it tells me when someone is searching, and if someone is starting to look in my area, this is not the best platform to do that. We have a local MLS system that has a better search system, but it's giving me the indication that, for whatever reason, they're starting to look. And so I can reach out to them and either directly tell them how I know, or kind of feel them out and see what's happening. And so this again is an automated text that's going out, suggesting to my clients to download the app. If they do that, if they use it, it does tell me when that is the case. And so it's helping me stay on top of, my clients' needs. I have another manual touch point. So I do teach 2 different seminars a year on investing. So in the Vancouver landscape, it's quite different. There's really no such thing as cash flow positive or barely even break even, but there are lots of investments here for a number of other reasons. So what I do is I have a very simple, 45-minute or less Zoom investment seminar where I personally, for my style, I go through all the different methods that are available to invest in North America. A lot of the things like BRRRR strategies or like seller financing, all those things in my environment in Metro Vancouver, that does not work. There's no way any of those work right now. That doesn't mean they don't work elsewhere. And also in my presentation, I go over everything because I want the clients to not think I'm trying to shy away from something that could work, but more talk about, all the different methods and the challenges why that doesn't work here. Then I bring it back to, asset investment and long-term appreciation, which is a method of investing that works in Vancouver. Again, those are 2 different seminars I teach. I send out an email and several different touch points building up to that. And it's a really simple way of communicating with your clients and adding value to them. A lot of times clients don't realize that you can help them with investment properties. And a lot of times what it has helped me is, clients who are kind of in their best and final because the next jump up in the property class is too big. They could have the option of investing if they can't upsize. And so it's just another way of being able to stay in touch. The next automated touch point would be a text that goes out to my clients asking them, hey, have you had a chance to download the app, and what do you think about it? Do you like it? Again, some people love the app, some people don't look at it. It's a little bit for everyone, and that's the idea of this 50 plus touch point system that I've created, or that we've created. A manual touch point that happens is manually, well, automatically, every day I get a list of people I need to call. So I have a commitment. My job description is to call a certain number of clients every day, and I call them 4 times a year. My database is around 600, so it's not huge, but it's quality, and yet it feels very big for me. I call every day, and if someone doesn't answer, and most people don't answer these days, I, call, go to voicemail, hang up, and then I sent a voice text saying the purpose of my call was. Now, the reason I think that's really important is if you just send a text to one of the people in your database, they might think that's an automated text. And of course, we use those as well. But if I'm going to take the time to pick up the phone to, call a client specifically and with purpose, I want to make sure they know that. So I don't leave a voicemail if they don't answer, but then I dictate a text and leave a voice text to them, and I can completely tell the difference. It's received differently with my clients because they will text back saying, "Oh, thank you. Sorry I missed your call. Look forward to catching up." Versus if I just sent them a text that they feel is generic, they often don't respond to that. But again, it is this, my system is telling me every day who to call, and the system is ensuring that I call the right number of people every day so that I call my database at least 4 times a year. Now, the next touch point that goes out, it's automated. It goes out every single month, is the monthly neighborhood nurture market update. It's a really simple program. Let's see if this actually works here. Um, and so what it is, I hope you can see the screen. It's just a link that takes well, it should. So that didn't, oh yeah, I guess it's loading, maybe. It's really simple and automated where when I put a client's address into my database, the neighborhood market update is working from that address, and it will show them all the properties around their home. It seems right now to be missing a whole bunch of information, but the point of that is I've noticed quite a powerful difference with people who are using it and who are clicking on that link when it comes out. And that's usually a good indicator to me that someone is looking and thinking about real estate. Let me get back to the main screen here. One moment. Da, da, da. Um, One sec. All right, let's do it this way. Sorry, folks. All right. Okay, so let's go back to that slide. Not sure why that kicked me out. Jump down to that. All right. So again, that is an automated touch point that is going out every month, again, without my effort, and it's sending an updated neighborhood market email link to each one of my clients based on their address. And when I see a client using it, and if I think they're doing more than just quickly looking at market comparables, I make sure I reach out to them because it's usually a very good indicator that they are looking for something. And I want to make sure if they are starting the search again, that they get, moved into my Paragon search system, which is much stronger than this platform. But it's a great way of having a consistent monthly touch point of value that goes out to your clients. So most CRMs are able to have something like this. And so, I found it very powerful with my clients. Now, the next touch point that goes out again every single month, it's automated for me, it's manual for the team, and that is my monthly newsletter. And our team creates this newsletter that goes out to my database once a month. It's made manually, but it's sent automatically, so I don't have to do it. And what it looks like, I hope you can see this, is we'll always have like a market update video at the beginning, and then it talks about the stats. It talks about the listing process. We have some links to our podcast showcasing recent nonprofit organizations that we've supported, and then it has all the different listings that we currently have available in the market. Let me see here with the chat. Still on the monthly neighborhood site. Huh. All right. Can anyone else send a message? Or can you see my newsletter, or are you still seeing the monthly neighborhood site? I'm going to monthly. Okay, I'm going to reshare. So 1 second. I'll stop and I'll reshare. All right, so now you should be able to see my screen with the monthly newsletters. Is that correct? Perfect. Okay, so I'm not going to hit the links that take me to every place because clearly I don't know how to operate my own computer. But you can get this PowerPoint yourself if you like, and you can see all my examples. And so again, each month, manual to the team, automated to me, a monthly newsletter goes out in an email to each one of our clients with great value. Also automated several times a year is a link to my referral contest. And I created a website, and it's called Roland's Referral Contest. It's been a great speaking tool with my clients, where every month we add a few more prizes to the pool. And it has a great, if you go to that website, it has a great number of prizes. We'll draw on December 12th for probably 40 or 50 different prizes. And someone who sends me a referral gets an entry into that draw. When that referral does business, that person gets 3 more entries. Again, this is an automated touch point that goes out that's built around a referral contest that I've chosen over the last few years to support and create. And it's been very powerful because it's kind of given me a way of communicating with people, and without asking for business, or maybe talking about the regular things we always talk about. And throughout the year, I am drawing a couple winners every month, and then a whole batch of winners on December 12th. And that's one of the big changes we made this year. In the past, I only drew a whole bunch of winners on December 12th. This year, every month, I have a few winners, and it's been much more impactful because every month we're delivering a few gifts, and those gifts often cause appreciation, and cause more people, or cause them to think more creatively and connect me with more referrals. And so for the purpose of the touch point, if you did something like this, it's an effective win for the client. So they might be interested, and it's hugely powerful for you to get more business. And if you go to that website, you can see a completely professional site with all the details on Roland's referral contest. And again, that is an automated message that goes out to my clients through email and text several times throughout the year. The next touch point that goes out, again at my discretion, what it is a home equity tool. So I will send my clients twice a year market report of their home. And what I do is I go into what our version of the back end, a system called Autoprop. I quite simply type in, or a team member quite simply types in the property address. They look at similar properties, 5% lower in price and 10% higher in price, and quickly click and create a property report. And then we email that report to the client. We also print it off and send it to them, which causes me to have to call them and tell them, what's coming for them in the mail. We make sure to call them after I've already printed it and mailed it. So if they say, oh, there's no need to send it, I've already gotten the email, I can say, oh, sorry about that, but it's in the mail. Hope you like the hard copy. And it's not a market evaluation of what your home is worth. It's more a range. And that's why we go 5% lower than the assessed tax value and 10% higher than the assessed tax value. We quickly type that in, and it's really easy to create multiple reports, and people love it. Like a lot of clients really enjoy receiving these reports because it shows all the neighboring properties who've recently sold, and it gives them a range of value should they want more information. It often causes a situation where they call me in for a sit down. And of course, it's a very similar house on the same street. Obviously, you can have, completely different values based on what has or has not been built or done in the property. And so for that reason, we make the reports fairly generic, but with enough comparable information and neighborhood information that the clients really value it and appreciate it. Another manual touch point that goes out once a year is a physical postcard, where it's kind of a funny postcard where it says, it's time for your annual real estate checkup. Less than 5% of our clients will actually, utilize this, but it's often a meeting where we're talking about potential upgrades to their home, potential renovations, and you would be surprised at how many times those conversations have led to conversations about investment properties, conversations about relocating. And I think the folks that take you up on a real estate checkup card, they almost inherently might know that they have a real estate need coming up, but they aren't ready to talk about it. And it's a nice way of just getting an update to the marketplace. And if your clients know that this is not a pressure situation, it's more an information sharing opportunity that they can utilize. We really have consistent, users of that, clients that enjoy it. And even if, I know this one client that I sit down with every year, and they certainly, I don't think, will ever sell their place in their lifetime. And yet I really enjoyed sitting down with them, and several years of doing it, they finally, sent me a really solid neighborhood listing, and it all made it worthwhile, right? It was a great touch point to stay front of mind that eventually led me to an awesome detached listing. The next automated link or message that goes out, we send out an email to the client that tells them, hey, in the course of being a homeowner, there's lots of different services or upgrades that you may need to do to the home. We have our preferred vendor list. Here's a link to it. And what I've done by doing this is I'm offering proven and successful service vendors, from roofers to landscapers to insurance brokers. They're all organized on my website, and I'm sending a link to my clients. And once I can cultivate where the clients are reaching out to me or leaning into me to get recommendations of different service providers, I've really, gotten my toehold into the relationship. And so there's lots of clients that anytime they have a business need or a service need, they reach out to me and ask, who do I have? And I'm constantly growing that vendor list. It's a great touch point. Again, it's automated, and so I don't think about it, but I know it's gone out because I'll often get, feedback from people shortly thereafter. It's also a great way of building relationships with, vendors and business people in your community who might not be in your database yet. And so it's a free spotlight. It's non-cost to the vendors, and it's a great way for them to get a bit more business from my database while I'm controlling the narrative. The next, touch point that will go out throughout the year is an email that I send out when I want it to, and it's again reminding people of the different investing classes that I teach and leading them to my YouTube channel. And again, more so recently, I'm really wanting people to watch market update videos and different content from a YouTube channel. And so we are, in this past year, have been pushing a lot more to send out reminders and easy ways for our clients to reach that channel. An automated text that goes out in the year is just asking the client if they've ever had any curiosity about foreclosures. Foreclosures are a funny thing. If you're moving in from outside of Vancouver, you might have come from a place where foreclosures are an amazing deal, and there's many of them. In my experience in Vancouver, I do a couple foreclosures a year with my clients. There's not a great deal of them. There's always a few, but it's not a huge amount at all. And often the deal is subjective. Sometimes you can get a great deal, and equally, I've seen people overpay on a foreclosure. But again, the reason I send that out as an automated text is it catches people's attention. A lot of people, when they get this, will reach out and be like, tell me more, what's available? And really, I caught their attention because they thought there was a deal. And there might be a deal, but really what I've just discovered when they do that is they have an interest in potentially buying an investment property. So we talk about the foreclosures, and then we talk about, what is realistic, what else is out there, and should we create a search and get started? Um, Once a month as well. It's manual, and again, it's manual for who makes it, but it's automated for me. I send out what's called a hot sheet, and so it's a simple email with all the properties we currently have on the market and a description of the future properties that are coming up. And so it's another touch point. You might feel, and I certainly felt that earlier in my career, like a lot of these seem repetitive, a lot of them seems similar, and it feels too much. Like, again, my touch points are 65 plus now, but I've really experienced that most people are getting maybe half of them, and we're in that world that unless you're playing at that level, they really don't remember consistently your brand or your name. Another automated touch point that goes out is messaging to the client, that we support community groups and nonprofit groups. And do you know of anyone that is, do you know of any community group or nonprofit that is looking for sponsorship for a little bit of a donation? Every month, our team donates a small amount to a preferred group that caught our attention that we wanted to help. And not only are we sharing that with our clients, but we're also sharing with our clients, asking them, who do you know that could use our contribution? And this is a really powerful touch point because I've had many, many clients, reach out to me and say, hey, next time maybe you could support, this nonprofit. I sit on the board of it. And it's not a huge donation we make. It ranges from $50 to $200 per month, depending on what else we're doing. And sometimes it's more. But that's the consistent amount we kind of have a budget of $200 every month. And it's been really powerful because it's shown our clients and that we are giving back. And it's also shown me the clients who are really moved by donations and by volunteering and by giving back to the community. And so it's connected me with a lot of clients who I did great business with, but I didn't feel I had a strong connection. And a great, simple, automated touch point that will get your clients to give you feedback, and you can help the groups. Um, Another touch point that we send out, again, I spoke with you that we send out a touch point sharing a link to our service directory to our clients. So should they have a need for any number of service professionals, they can find recommendations at that website. And now another touch point that comes out later is asking them, who's a professional that is a standout service provider that you've recently worked with that we, could bring more business to, that you think we should know. And this has been hugely impactful over the years for my business because my clients often have a friend or a family member or someone that they really care about, and someone that does great work. They connect them with me. and we add them to the service directory. We get them extra business, and it's a win-win. My clients are happy because they look like a rock star. Obviously, the vendor's happy because they have more business, and I'm happy because my touch points are working and my clients are calling back, and I'm staying front of mind, should the time come where they have a buying or selling or referral need. Also, what we do manually once a year, our team writes a card with a little bit of a candy and a lotto ticket to each one of our clients. It is time intensive, but that's the system that we've built, and we really believe it does have an impact. So a manual happy birthday card goes out to each one of our clients. We work months in advance, and actually a little trick, send your birthday cards 3-4 weeks in advance. Like, no one gets a birthday card 3-4 weeks in advance, but it's going to be remembered, and it's going to be the first card they get. And even your Christmas cards, if you send holiday cards, make sure you send it 2-3 weeks before the holidays. There's nothing worse than, running out of time and then getting your mail into the post office, and a holiday card arrives January 3rd. And you might be surprised, but I get a lot of holiday cards in the first week of the new year. And the enjoyment, although I appreciate that I received them, is completely different than if they arrived at the first week of December. So keeping that in mind, again, we send out a manual happy birthday. We send out a manual happy anniversary. And what this does is, every time that we do a transaction, we put the contacts on the transaction date into the calendar. So every single day, now we have a reminder that comes out, and it tells us all the folks that have done a transaction on this day and when they did the transaction. So we reach out to them and follow up with a text or a phone call, just congratulating them. They should have received this anniversary card. And keeping in mind that so many transactions, so many clients after the year 5 and 6, 4, 5, and 6, they are often at another transaction point. So this is also a reminder for me, the realtor, to be like, oh my gosh, these folks are already 5 years in this home. I've actually talked to them about, is this home that they're currently in their best and final home, or is there an opportunity to upsize or get something a little bit different? So it's, good reminder for the client. They will never remember, or most people won't remember, and it's a great touch point. It is a little bit of postage, printing, and a little bit of a lotto ticket cost, but it's well worth it if it gets you a couple deals throughout the years. We send out, instead of just sending out a holiday card, we combine that with two other items at that time of year. We combine it with our calendar, and we combine it with a color contest. So in November, this package will go out to each one of our clients. And again, they'll receive a holiday card. You make sure the holiday card arrives early. They'll receive a calendar and a coloring contest. We have several different client events throughout the year. In the springtime, we had a pet extravaganza, and what that was we invited our clients to bring their pets down to a location where we had a photographer take pictures of them, and there was a vet on site, there was groomers, there was doggy treats, and lots of treats for the adults. It was just a fun venue for our clients who really, have pets and drag them around and love to host their pets in fun settings. And so that was a client touch point that we created. And of course, there's 3-4 communication points for each one of these client events that we create that are going out to our database. In the spring, we have what's called a sugar shack. And that's where we get a location, and we have all types of different kinds of sugar, from, donuts to ice cream to cotton candy to waffle stand to a big candy bar. And lots of people just come out to say hi and grab some sugar. And it's fairly affordable. Obviously sugar in moderation for health, but from a cost perspective in business, sugar is actually, a great business tool if you can utilize it, because it's very affordable for drawing in clients and giving something back that, they have some guilt with, but they certainly enjoy. We have in the fall coming up, this is coming up this Sunday at my office. We're doing our pumpkin event. So we kind of do two different events. We do a large communal pumpkin giveaway where we have Lots of free pumpkins. We have coffee carts. We have face painters, balloonists, and a huge candy bar where we've invited our clients down to. It's typically 3 hours in the afternoon, and we're following up with our clients, sending multiple different touch points, building up to that. And yeah, so it's a really fun event where our clients are coming down to grab a free pumpkin. We also, it's missing here, but so I'll touch on the pumpkin in the future. But so that's a pumpkin event. Then we have the last event of the year is our pie event. Again, multiple touch points going out to communicate the pie event. There's a touch point in here that's not listed, which is we send out a postcard. It's double-sided. One side is the pumpkin event, the other side is the pie event with the details, reminding the clients that on such and such day at this location, we'd love to gift you a pie for the holidays. We buy thousands of pies, and we give, one or two pies to each family that comes and picks them up, and they tend to have a choice between, two or three different flavors. What I really love about the pumpkin event and the pie event is as soon as kind of Halloween sets in, and then Remembrance Day, and then into the holidays, I notice a change in my clients. I notice that my clients tend to, pick up the phone more. They tend to have conversations. They tend to be nicer and more inquisitive on myself. And so what I've done over the years, I've really layered a lot more touch points later into the year, because what I'm trying to do is become really front and center and make real estate really front and center in that November, December, January window, where people are going to go home, talk with family, and think about perhaps their next real estate move. And an easy way of doing that is, on the final event of the year, is inviting them to a location where you're going to gift them with a pie. It's actually very affordable. I think our pies are nice pies. I think they cost like $5 or $6. One of the events that's not in here that we used to do is a barbecue, but we removed the barbecue a couple years ago because it honestly got too expensive. Each protein, we outgrew the ability to do the barbecue ourselves because it was just too large. So we had to hire a professional company. And each burger, each hot dog, I think we couldn't find anyone locally to make it less than, $8 an item. And what we discovered, this might be interesting for some of you, is the barbecue event. The same family of four people that comes to the barbecue event, they might have come just after one of their kids played softball or soccer, and they come, they grab a burger or a hot dog, they grab chips and a drink, and they sit down, they enjoy it, they talk, they play some games, and maybe half of them will, in an hour later, still be a little bit more hungry. So they go back and help themselves to a burger or a hot dog. And so a family of four might actually mathematically, consume 6, 7 proteins. And if you're paying $8 to $10 per protein item, that family of four has literally cost you $100 in cost. And whereas, we very rarely does a family ask for more than one or two pies. So even if you give, a family two pies, you're talking less than $15, less than $14. So we stopped doing the barbecue because it had outgrown the level where we were doing the cooking ourselves. And then the costs and inflation and everything made it so expensive. It was literally, $15,000 to $20,000, which wasn't worth it. So that's a point as well that I want to bring up, where you need to evaluate your touch points to make sure that they are real to who you are, and that they are in line with the market conditions, and that you're getting value for it. Because of course people enjoyed coming to the barbecue, but it was consuming so much of our budget, it wasn't worth the value for us. Um, Also, we do several different coloring contests. It's really easy. You send out, a design, and give details of how and of what the rules to participate are, and when they can submit it, and what the prizes are. We always give out a bunch of movie tickets and Starbucks cards. We pretty much give a prize almost to everyone who enters, and it's simple but powerful. We have contests throughout the year that is utilizing social media. So what I do is I post these different contests online on my Facebook page, on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn. And I always have a little bit of a hook and an ask. So like describe what your best, experience of your dad is, and be entered into winning a prize. And we always have a really good prize or several prizes. And it's really powerful and cool to see some of these contests that we do trigger our clients into, giving a really deep and or meaningful comment, and we've connected with them on a level that otherwise we never would have had a chance to. And so I really enjoy, it's a new thing that we started this year. We have probably 4 or 5 different contests. And again, these contests are shared on our social media platforms, and they're also included in our newsletters. They're also included in our different touch points and texts that we send out to them. So we have the Father's Day touch point, we have a Mother's Day touch point, but the picture wasn't there. We have a Canada Day contest. We have a back to school contest. We have a Happy Thanksgiving contest that just took place. And then our upcoming one is the Halloween contest. Again, to this post, describe your favorite Halloween experience on memory. And people like it, people share it, and you never know who will, reach out after that. And it's just a really affordable, simple way of staying in touch and communicating to your clients. And so we use a lot of different contests that are manually created and then automatically pushed out at the right time of year. And the last contest that we run is the Happy Holiday contest. The good thing about this one, we kind of laden this one with quite a few prizes, because we want to have a lot of phone calls that we can give out in January, where we can say, hey, so and so, you want a $10 Starbucks card. So we tend to have a lot of winners in the early, January, because we want to get into conversation with folks, because we know that the market usually starts pretty early in January. We also have a number of different free offers that we send out. So an automated offer that goes out throughout the year is, we have a number of different items, from tents to a bag of soccer balls to barbecue to a generator. And what we're doing is just, telling our database, should you need some of these items, feel free to come by and, with pre-planning, and grab it for free and bring it back. Very rarely does a client, um, utilize it, but the ones who do love it. So we give out our tents a couple times a year. I've loaned out a generator a couple times a year, and it's a really affordable, simple way to be, offering free things to your clients to use. And I've even gotten business from it, where a client, is recommending one of their neighbors who needed a generator to reach out to me, because they only needed it for a few days. They had water claim that they needed to work on, and until insurance came, they didn't have some of the supplies. So I was able to loan it to them, and in turn, that led into a referral of a buyer from out of town. So these things do make a difference. Again, this resonates with me. It's authentic to me. I like giving, I like sharing. And I live in on the North Shore, and have some room in my garage, and so it's logistically feasible to keep these items and make them available when needed. We also send out an automated touch point close to school, where we're telling our database, should they know of any child that's in need of school supplies, we will get them school supplies. We've purchased and delivered lots of different school supplies to folks who needed it. And it really, again, is a simple, very affordable, powerful way of communicating with your database value. And what I'm hoping that you're seeing now, after, being here for a few minutes with me, is some of the stuff that I've covered. Yes, it's general, it's stuff that you've already thought of, but some of it is not. And so that has been developed over the years. And I do feel that our multi-touch points system to our clients is working, is powerful. One of my favorite touch points, that's a manual one. I usually use this one in January. Usually in early January, I want to get back to work. I want to see who's ready to buy and sell. I send this picture or similar one out to my clients one by one from my personal cell phone, with a lot of language, leading to the fact of, like, you're probably sick and tired of family and being cooped up and watching Netflix. I'd love to buy you a book, or maybe in the summertime saying, would you be interested in a little less screen time and getting out into nature and reading a book? I'd love to buy you a book. Um, Less than 15% of my clients, take me up on this. And so it remains very affordable because when a client does, you go into Amazon, you buy the book, and it gets delivered straight to the client. And the clients love it. I've gotten a lot of great goodwill from clients just over the purchase of a book. And what I also find is a lot of clients will respond to this touch point who may not have responded to many other touch points. And that's another thing I want to bring up. A lot of these different touch points are purposely different because it triggers different people. We have people that drive in 2 hours for a free pie. I have clients who only respond to the free book offer once a year. And I have clients who, every pumpkin event, they ask for 20 different pumpkins. And because they always have a pumpkin carving contest at their house, and I have more than enough pumpkins, I'm able to supply that. We're talking about like 50-ish dollars, $60 worth of pumpkins, and they love it. They love the fact that they have a supply of pumpkins every year, and I'm sure that has a big part in the ongoing referrals I get from them. So with the different types of touch points at different times a year, we are, increasing our success rate as well as we can to, make sure that clients are reaching out and being triggered to connect with us for opportunity that we can offer. Again, part of my thing is I have a couple generators that I loan out, and clients do use these. Certainly during COVID, these were hot commodities. Since then, I've loaned out generators, like I mentioned a few times, where there's insurance claims and people going camping or people having, a wedding or a party. No one wants to spend 600-700 bucks for a good generator if you only need it for a weekend. This has literally paid itself many times through business because it's a novel idea. Now, if you lived in an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment, is this a good way of growing your business? Probably not, because you don't want to drag this through your apartment and down to deliver to a client. But the way I have it set up, it's very functional for me. Another touch point that goes out automated is we send out things like this where, we ask our clients, do you need any more stickers to put on the front of your door that should there be an emergency that, the first responders know what kind of pets are inside. Another touch point similar to that is we reach out to our clients and say, do you have a gas wrench on your gas meter? Should there be an emergency that you can turn off the gas? Very few people have that. A lot of our clients, obviously we can only install one in our relationship with the client, but when we do that with a client, they love it. It's a great way for when I want to, that I can swing by to a client's house who's waiting for it, install it on their gas meter, and have a short conversation with a client. Again, very affordable. It's something that most people won't have themselves, and when needed, it's extremely valuable. Um, we support multiple different organizations throughout the year, and so we show that to our clients. It's really important that you need to show your clients what you're doing, and so it's great through automated touch points to show them all the different community groups or nonprofits that you're sponsoring. We send out a touch point every month on who's that recipient that month receiving our support. So all in all, that is a little overview of my touchpoint system. I'm going to jump here into the questions, and anyone feel free to jump on if you have any questions. I'd love to get your feedback or any questions you might have. One question I see here is from Aman is, do you do all of this with people in your database that you haven't done business with, or eliminate some steps for them? Great question. I do this with everyone. If you're in my database, you're highly valuable. Like I don't add people to my database from an online drip campaign unless that those people have been turned into a conversation and value. I've connected with them. But people in my database, it's so hard to get people in your database that I spend equally on anyone because I know the opportunity that can come from it. And again, my database is like ranging between 500-600 a year, and I'm constantly adding and removing people. And so if you're in there, you get the touch points. Um, all right. I don't see any other questions here, folks. Is there any other questions from anyone else? And otherwise, again, the recording will be available on my YouTube channel, and also that the workbook is available if you didn't receive it, that you can hopefully work on your business and make your touch points that much stronger. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop recording now and wish you guys all the best. Have a great day.